Are we live?
Yes.
We are? Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming to the legislative meeting of the Wilkinsburg School Board for the month of August 2022. Mr. Secretary, would you please take the roll?
Yes. Mr. Donovan,
I'm here.
Mr. Steadley, Ms. Garcia,
Here.
Ms. Thorpe,
Here.
Mr. Bossy,
Here.
Mr. Rose, Ms. Comans,
Here.
Ms. Rubenstraw,
Here.
and Ms. Wood.
Here.
8 present.
Thank you. So under the introductory items, I did have a piece of correspondence to say on the record. I sent it out to you all, a thank you card, a really nice thank you card that we got about the tax cut, and it was real complimentary to the work that we're doing. So I was gonna, we never enter correspondence in this introductory thing. I was gonna do it for a change, but I forgot to bring it. So that's that. Any public comments before we begin? Okay, I don't think there's anybody here who's not really a part of the meeting. Mr. Hart, so section 2. Oh, presentations. We want to do the presentations now?
Yes, thank you. Matt have anything?
Well, no, they actually go before him, but you don't have anything to add, do you, Matt?
nothing to add.
Okay, so we've got item 3 has been handled, so we can go to the presentations. Okay, let's move them up so that they can go home. So Summer and Jeanette, do you want to flip a coin for who goes first? Are you?
You can start with special ed.
Okay.
Okay. Good evening. Good evening.
Hi, welcome.
Okay. All right. Is this okay?
Do you need the presentation brought up?
We do, yeah. I think, Rick, do you have it?
Yep, it's coming.
Okay.
Does everybody know, do you guys want to introduce yourself?
Yes, definitely. I'm Jeanette Masso, the new director of special education, and we're working with Lori Sutton from Allegheny Intermediate Unit 3. She's been our consultant and primarily working on getting the plan completed.
Welcome. We put you to work really fast and hard, didn't we?
Oh, it's wonderful.
You just came last week, and then with in-service and everything, I see your name all over every schedule, so.
Oh, yeah, it's great so far, and it's been really wonderful to have Lori too, because her experience and input is really invaluable.
She's good, yep.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Jermaine, the PowerPoint, when I pull it up, disappears. So I'll throw it up down here. There it goes. Okay. It's just, probably like 5 PowerPoints. Yeah, that's what happens. It's really slow.
Thanks. Remember when Clara said something?
So once again, thank you, and thank you for having me here in the district. There's a lot of great things happening, and it was really cool and exciting to put together the special education plan. I felt like it was almost like a puzzle that I had to find the pieces and put it together. And so what is the special education plan is the first slide. And basically, the Pennsylvania Department of Education, it's a requirement. They're responsible for ensuring, they're called the SEA, the State Education Agency, and they're responsible to make sure that all of the LEAs, the local education agencies, ensure that special education programs in schools are appropriate, compliant, and effective. And so this is one way that they can measure that and monitor that is by every district has to have a 3-year special education plan. So that's on the next slide, actually. And this is under the school code. And like with any plan, you know, you can just kind of do the plan, check the box, put it on the shelf, and not really use it. But then what's the purpose of that? So really, this is a nice way if you want to dig into it's 55 pages. And we're going to read that to you later on. Bad joke. 55 pages it turned out to be. So there's a lot of, and the comp plan is even longer than that. So there's a lot of important information. And if you want to dig into it a little bit at some point, it's a nice way to look at some baseline data and to see, kind of measure, you know, the growth over that period of time. And on the next slide, why it's 55 pages is because there are 14 different components to the special education plan. And I'm not going to obviously read that list to you, but it covers everything from identification method, for example, is how does the district identify students with specific learning disabilities? So it goes into that a little bit. Least restrictive environment. We want to meet the state averages for where students are included in the regular ed classroom, 80% or more of the time. Now, that's not all students, it's 60% of the students. So you also were shared called a special ed data report. It's a one-page color copy. It's attached to your board doc at the very end for your voting motion. And the rest of the 14 pieces there. The next steps, we need to upload a form on letterhead that would be signed by the board president, and Dr. Joe will go in and approve the plan and submit. So we're that close after you do approve. Any questions on the components? I'm not gonna.
And this is where we caught in the meeting the one day.
Yes.
Where our special ed number was doubled, according to the state on the Penn data report.
Mhm.
Luckily that was caught through your work, where they were not including our high school students. And they should be, because we are the LEA for those students.
Right.
So that number's percent was 40-something%, which doesn't look good. It was actually 24.6.
Right. That's correct. So 2 sources there. We have the special ed data report. That's where the error was. But then we also looked at the PIMS data, which is, you know, familiar with that, the PA Information Management System. And so this slide has all the correct information and percentage in there.
So that's why it's important what Diane Ionati does, just make sure everything matches up, and she's does a pretty good job of keeping everything in line.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Definitely. All right, on the next slide then, we have the education program profile. And for the district, we have 10 special education
Jeanette, I'm
programs.
sorry, I don't want to hold us back with questions. It would be great if we got a meeting over and it was still light outside. I mean, it's summertime, but I have to ask this one. So it's
Sure.
probably silly. So with that percentage of students who receive special, the previous slide, percentage of students receiving special education, we know that because they have an IEP. I mean, that's the main identifier, right?
Right.
Okay, it's a pretty basic question. I just wanted to make sure I knew.
Sure, and this compares to the state. We're slightly higher than the state number. So that's something that we always work on, making sure, you know, students' needs are met, knowing that that state target is a goal. But if we have kids who have needs, we have to meet their needs, and we do that through the IEP process.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
So just to follow up then on that question, those are the students with IEPs. How many of those students have just maybe speech and hearing difficulties instead of other
Could we get into that?
learning?
It's on the Penn data, but I would say probably in our 2 elementary schools, probably around 40 to 50 students.
So a quarter of the
Would be
kids
speech only.
would be speech. And
And that's something that, you know, again, developmentally, students usually, you know, are able to grow out of that and, you know, get to where they need to be.
Right.
Mhm. Okay, so on the program profile, the different programs and classrooms that we have here in the district include learning support, emotional support, autistic support, and then the speech and language support. And part of our, you know, development of the plan included an articulation of our services. So the support services, we have the director of special education, we have special education paraprofessionals working in the classrooms and with students. We have the school psychologists, we have PT and OT, physical therapy, occupational therapy. We have the social worker, the behavior specialist, and then guidance counselors. So we really have a lot of layers in place to support our kids throughout the process. And then the next one is the district strengths. And this really gives us an opportunity, just like we do in an IEP, we look for strengths and needs. So this, putting this whole, you know, plan together helped us look at the district strengths. So the strengths that we listed here include full day for pre-K and kindergarten students, the small class sizes that we have with math and literacy coaches and the tutoring that's available, the after-school programs, summer enrichment, We're one-to-one with technology with the Chromebooks. Assistive technology, if students require that assistive technology, if that's determined as part of their IEP. We have the autism initiative training and consultation with TAN, school-based mental health services through Glade Run, the partnership with Presley Ridge for our Pride program that's in this building, Spanish instruction to all of our students weekly, and then STEAM offered pre-K through 6. So this gave us an opportunity to look at, here are some really neat things that we're doing and services we're providing for our kids that are, partially, related to special ed, but also just growing our kids across the curriculum.
It also shows that everything we have is available to all our students, including the special. So that's really important for inclusion. I mean, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So that is what we have for the special education plan.
Wow. Very nice.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you.
Some good questions answered there. All right.
Okay, so as Jeanette said, the comprehensive plan was very, very lengthy. And I was saying, as I was walking in here, this is the first time I've ever done something like this. It's different than what was done a couple years ago. New portal, new requirements. And actually this process started back when Dr. Iverson was here prior to COVID. So we had started to work on the plan. And then when the pandemic happened, things were put on pause and there was extensions. And you couldn't have meetings and bring people in. So it starts with our mission, and that's where the plan starts. Is looking at the mission, taking a look at data, just like they did with the special ed plan. So we pulled data from multiple sources and inputted that into our plan, and that's where we came to. If you look at the next slide, is we completed a needs assessment. So we looked at Acadian's data, we looked at PSSA scores, and that was actually all put in prior to the pandemic with the Future Ready. And then we had to go in and take it all out and we put the current data that was released last year. So from there, if you go to the next slide, we established priorities. So there was a lot of priorities that came up with planning and creating this plan, but as a district and as the teams met, we looked at 4 areas. We can go on to the next slide. And that doesn't mean because these 4 are here that we're still not looking at other areas of need. So 4 priorities that we wanted to focus on was a multi-tiered support system, because we do currently offer RTII. We do currently have the SAP team and AST, but we can improve and do better. And so that was a priority that we wanted to attach to this plan. Also, identifying targeted interventions. So we have 95% growth. We implemented foundations in the primary grades where you can double dip, but there may be other interventions for kids that are not successful with the ones that we're implementing. Also implementing with Fidelity a core math program, so that you'll see throughout the plan. And also, how can we use evidence-based strategies to incorporate families into more activities? And all of these priorities are measured and all around our mission and vision. So that's where we came together and we came up with some measurable goals. And so we're going to implement a math program using the cycle of professional learning that started today with our teachers coming in for their first training for math. Updating the district scope and sequence. We've already started with that work even this summer. Implementing an MTSS process, so that's a multi-tiered system, and working with the IUs. Dr. Joe and I already initiated that process, and we're working with the IU. And they're going to be working with kindergarten and 6th grade on September 21st. Ongoing collaboration and professional development with the IU, and that will be at multi-tiered, sometimes with coaches, sometimes with interventionists or grade levels. providing ongoing professional development with Acadians reading. And I know one of the questions was, well, if there's a focus on math, why is one of the goals around Acadians reading? And just from doing a needs assessment and looking at our Acadians data, we're seeing discrepancies from like different grade levels and looking at Acadians data and looking at PSSA data and looking at the correlation. So we decided that we need to kind of take a little bit of a deeper dive in how is the assessment given? Is the assessment given different if I give it versus if you give it? And that also ties back to one of our priorities and looking at the targeted interventions, because that's going to drive what our students need. And it goes on to the multi-tiered system, which is going to tie back to the SAT process and our social and emotional needs of our students. And lastly, engaging families through home visits, family workshops. We talked about surveying the families to see, what barriers are there, because if we have more family involvement, then all of our priorities are going to then increase student achievement. So from there, we created action steps, and that would be the next slide. And then the action steps tie to our professional development plan. So if you look under the board action, there's a comprehensive plan, but then there's also 5 plans that go with it. So we have an academic plan, we have a professional development plan, there's a student service plan, there's a gifted plan, and an induction plan. So those are all separate to the comprehensive plan. So those were all created and they all tie together. So the action steps that we came up with to be able to meet those measurable goals and to address our priorities is that elementary teachers will implement a new comprehensive math program starting this year. And we will continue to audit the scope and sequence that has been put in place for the last couple of years to make sure it's meeting the needs of our curriculum, meeting the state standards, and it goes with the curriculum that we are using. We will evaluate the overall effectiveness of the current intervention programs we use by conducting a data analysis team to look at the outcomes and student growth. So we're going to be doing that with the IU. And when they come in to meet with our coaches and our interventionists, myself, the principals, and also taking a look at how do we continue to measure that? We measure that through our assessments that we do beginning, middle, and end of the year. Continue to research reading and math intervention programs and implement new programs if there is a need. So yes, we implemented the core math program. We're implementing Success Maker. We have 95% growth. But if we do a needs assessment and we continue to look at data and there might be something else out there that supports students like special ed, they're using touch math. That is why that action step is within the plan. And then lastly, taking a look at how can we, with Fidelity, implement MTSS better than what we're doing now. And so year 1, we're going to focus with kindergarten and 6th grade. Doesn't mean we're not looking at data in the other grade levels, but we're going to work one-on-one with the IU in those grade levels, year 2, and then year 3. More action steps that are listed in the comprehensive plan is an Acadians reboot session. That kind of ties back to the fidelity of giving the assessment.
Yes, but I don't want to interrupt
No,
you.
it's good.
Same question. Can we go back to the last slide?
Sure.
With the grade level team meetings.
Sure.
I thought we already have grade level team meetings.
So
So are
we-
these different from the AIU facilitated ones? Is that different from what we usually have with grade level meetings where we're looking at data?
So they are the grade level meetings that we always had. They're going to actually attend those and support that process that we already have in place. So we have grade level meetings now. We actually were having grade level, like we did the master schedule this year so we can have grade levels where coaches can attend a little bit better than what it's happened in the past and with COVID. So yeah, we do have grade level meetings. It's just the IU will be supporting that process to make what we do better.
That's the difference.
So, okay, so.
It's not separate.
Yeah, there's not separate meetings.
Right, I just
Yeah.
wanted
And
to.
it's that multi-tiered system of support. So it also, if it's done correctly, we should actually probably have less special ed identifications, because really we should be doing modifications making sure we're doing modifications, adaptations before identifying sometimes. Are we doing everything that we can do?
So is the AIU involvement in this because it's a new program and helping to implement the new program? Is that what the purpose of the AIU involvement in these team meetings? Or
It's to,
is
to
it different
support
strategies or?
and look at the process that we're using, because we're still finding that our triangle is flipped and that we're still seeing more kids in tier 3 than more kids in tier 1. So they're coming in to support what we've been doing to improve what we're doing.
And this is something they focus on. This is
Their specialty.
this is their specialty area.
Okay,
It's growing our relationship with the IU. We're taking advantage of more of their
Their
services
services.
now than we ever did before that. I
Sure.
didn't mean to butt in
Yeah.
somewhere, but I think that's the big picture, right?
Yes.
right,
We're
and
inviting them in more.
I love the AIU and they, they do good work, so I'm excited about hearing that. But I guess what it is somewhere are there, the measurable goals
Mhm.
that you guys have, I'm not sure they're measurable, right? It's implement, develop, or, implement, demonstrate, provide ongoing professional development. Measurable goals would be, year one, working with a goal of increasing math scores or whatever from here to here, something you can actually measure. Or we're going to have 4 professional development sessions, to focus on this here. That's measurable. But we can always dig down and get those things later. I'm excited if we have a plan and we stick to it and we monitor ourselves instead of, like you said, putting it on a shelf.
Sure,
Because we've done that
Yeah.
for years.
Yeah.
No,
Years
no,
and
and
years.
I agree, and I think
Yeah.
the support of the IU, because we've had support putting in the 6-step process, and we've had ILT, and we've had consultants that come in that support that. I think that ongoing, and especially with the pandemic, having someone local like the IU that can say, hey, this is how we interpret the data. Let's talk about what you're doing. Let's measure the success of what you're doing. We're going to see those goals and we're going to see those increases in the data from beginning to middle to end, where we're kind of, we were talking about it today, kids that were in tier 3, you're seeing that on PSSAs. Well, the goal was to try to move those a little bit more. So they're just someone that's going to help to make our practices better.
Right. Yeah, I just hope that we can take this plan and get a little deeper so that we, the board, can help measure performance to see if it's actually working.
I agree.
And that's good conversation, because I was looking at some of your emails too. That's good conversation and topics of conversation for our board retreat as well.
Exactly.
It's like a state of the union, state of the Wilkinsburg during those board retreats where we talk
Right.
about the special ed plan, we look at it, okay, where are we at?
And we
On year
used to
one.
do that sometimes, years and years and years ago when we were, Matt might remember this, back in the 2000s, when we were empowerment, districts where we would have to go away for a weekend, we just didn't go away. We went to the AIU for 2 days in a row because to go over all the data and understand really what was happening.
I guess you bringing up those questions is what I was asking afterwards. Like, even if we can't do a retreat, I think if you all are meeting to go over something quarterly, then when we have our board meetings, that can be an update for us here as
Exactly
well
right.
as for the public, so that they're also seeing that progress that's happening.
Sure.
Yeah, I'd rather go that route than form a separate curriculum committee, which we used to have, because then it really gets dumped into 4 or 5 people who are on that committee, and all of the information never comes back to the whole board.
Right.
So I like your idea, Ashley, of let's get quarterly updates that coincide with the work you're doing anyway, so it's not busy work.
Yeah,
And I think if everybody is comfortable with that, I think that's good.
that's what my thought was. I don't
I
think
like
you all
that.
should duplicate anything. If you're already having a meeting, we already have a scheduled board meeting. Let's talk about it then.
Yes.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
Right.
Thank you, Eric, had a question.
And that's where the next slide just goes into more action steps that we as a district will take to be successful with the goals that we wrote. You want to go to the next slide?
Sorry. Next one.
And so it has I talked about the survey and how we can explore the development of procedures on how we communicate with parents and our guardians. We have started to do online registration. We are using Google Classrooms for our students, but are the parents actually going into the Google Classroom? So taking a look over the next 3 years on how we can increase that communication, using our student information system to be a communication tool. That software can do that. They can update their information each year on that. Emails can be sent out right through there. So we added the piece of enrollment, but there's other pieces that can be used to communicate. And then that's where the professional development plan came into play. That was linked in, but it is on the website and it is on the Word doc. So our professional development is a plan over the next 3 years that's going to get us to our goals and our priorities. So for instance, today we started with our first training in math. We have another training tomorrow, and we'll continue that over the next 3 years to make sure that we continue to implement the program with fidelity. And also, we've already started with looking at the SAT process again. And there's a training today, there's a training tomorrow, and that's where the professional development plan comes into play. Any other questions?
Yeah, I think, I'm sorry, go ahead. I'd just like to bring up, I'm not sure who's responsible for, but I think, all this involvement with families, PTO or PTA kind of group, I think would be really helpful. To help this process along. I don't know. We've spoken about that, I know. I just don't know who's, I think Monica said at one point, it's not the responsibility of the school board to set up a PTO or PTA, but I didn't know, if that ever existed in Wilkinsburg. I'm not sure. Of late.
When I was in
Not for
elementary
years.
school. Yeah.
That was the first question Ms. Gardocki even asked me. She goes about starting some type of parent organization.
Mhm.
You don't have to necessarily be affiliated with a national organization because then you're held to standards, but she's been wanting to do that. And that was part of our conversation with district council. And I know we talked about getting clearances, but I think, and I had Mrs. Wells tell me today, I think if we put in volunteers,
It's free.
it's free. So,
We have a parent that we know is interested, so, yeah.
So I know we've had meetings like that, and they might at one point, I can remember in the last 19 years, had a PTA. Kelly Dixon, because her children came through the elementary schools. We used to have meetings after school, but it was only ever 3 or 4 parents. It never grew very large. Even Michael Johnson would sit on it. So we've tried many times, but I like when you had your superintendent meeting, a community member saying, could it just be a community member part of that, not just a family, and they would be interested in that.
And even if we don't have a PTO committee, say we don't have enough, participation or volunteers to be part of that, because it should be run by parents, or community members, not, a paid position or a board member, but we can still, as a district, hold parent info nights, right? That, we can,
Yeah.
so we can say, hey, come in tonight, we're going to discuss this, and this, and one of those things being, how do you use the Google Meet classroom?
Yeah.
Because
Mhm.
some parents they might just think, oh, I don't know how to do that. And then they just don't even get on. When in fact, if somebody just if we walk them through it and show them, it's, because I know other schools that use, other platforms, same thing. Sometimes it's just oh, I have to learn this new system. So then you just kind of put it on the back burner and you never
Sure.
get in because you think it might be too, I'm not going to understand her. I don't really know what to do. But maybe if, we just show parents or we have an info night come in so we can answer any questions you might have. You might have a thing where coffee with the superintendent or whatever, or with the principals and the super, so they can come in, ask questions, we can show them, So it could be something like that where because as somebody had mentioned recently, not many school districts where you have the opportunity to really have direct communication with the superintendent of the district or, with the leadership. And that is one advantage that we have of being a small district that we can offer to our community, to our parents. And so why not? Hey, let's put that out there. If you're interested, it's going to be on Thursday night at 7, come in for coffee and cake. And, these are the things we want to talk about. Anything else you might want to.
We used to have those.
And we
a few
did-
years- Yeah.
actually, we
had
did them
those.
last
Dr.
year.
Iverson had a couple.
Yeah.
We actually did them last year
We even
twice.
had it with
And
the
they were very
PTO.
successful.
And we did them virtually last year. So this year we can bring parents into the building. But we actually did them twice last year. one in fall, one in spring, where I led those ones where
Right.
it would be by grade level, because I didn't know how many people were gonna show up. So I
Right.
thought it'd be easier to do it by grade level, so we had scheduled dates and so on, and Kelly Hanna helped set up promoting it. So, but we can do it now this year, probably in person, which I think would be more impactful.
Yeah.
And
Before
maybe
we,
a
be-
hybrid option too,
A hybrid, yeah.
some in person,
Yes.
some online to.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was going to say, before we leave the subject of helping parents use Google Meet, we said last year that we were going to make IEP meetings and parent-teacher conferences available virtually also, because participation went way up. So I just wanted to remind us that we noticed that last year, that it was really effective in getting more parents to come to the conference. So we want to remember to do that this year. I just thought I'd throw that out also while we're talking about it.
And finding out, what could we do to help them come in person? Is that offering, childcare? Is it offering transportation to get to your school? So all of those strategies and really digging deep into how can we address the barriers that families may have to come into the building, so we can offer different sessions.
Yeah.
So Summer, this hasn't, the presentation is fine, but this has to, on the attachments that go with those, these are questions I had at the planning session. I see they're still the same. And I'm not sure I got an answer for them. In the professional development plan, there's a question that says, do the implementation steps cover at least a 3-year implementation horizon? And we answer
And
no.
we updated that, I think.
But
it
it's
just
not
wasn't
attached.
reattached. I can
Okay.
send it to Rick to
I
swap
brought
that out.
those
We updated
last week. I
that,
brought those to her.
because we pulled
attention.
it up in the PD suite and corrected that, so I'm not sure,
Okay,
why it populated no, but I can send that to you.
okay. Yeah, and
Because
the
I know
same
on the
thing with
website, it was updated.
the academic standards too, because they were, based on the responses above, would aligning locally developed curriculum to the academic standards be a priority in the comprehensive plan, and we put no to that.
So I think that,
And would instructional practices be a priority? And we said no, and it's like, that's what it's all about.
it should be, yes.
Yeah, I think you
I
addressed
can
those.
update that and send that to him right now, because I thought we updated it, it might be updated on the website, but.
It's
I'm
not on
allowed
the
to send it.
attachments.
So I'll
'cause I
send
looked.
that right now.
Okay.
Yep.
Great. That's what you can.
All right. Thank you, Summer. And really, and you and Jeanette, really, you don't have to stay for all these votes. I mean, there are a lot of them tonight. Thank you for everything. And we'll see you on Friday. A number of us are coming on Friday, so we'll see you then. One thing I wanted to point out, hey, would we make sure that these reports make it to the Board Docs library? Lots of times the reports don't make it there, and so when one of us goes looking for it, we can't find it. If you put all that work into the special ed plan and the comprehensive plan and the gifted plan, all those things, let's make sure they're available for board members to go see them, So that's easy to do by putting them on Board Docs. There's so much information, so much work that gets done that doesn't get posted, and then we can never find it. So, Jen. Yeah, right. I thought I said gifted. Yeah, there were 4 other plans in addition that were part of the comprehensive plan. We want them all posted because it's good work. So thanks, everybody, very much. Dr. Joe.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, we did have new teacher orientation yesterday. Summer put that together, planned it, and I had a small part in it, but we all had small parts in it. But Ms. Pendro was the one who led that yesterday. It went off very well. She even put baskets together for the new teachers, and we had a good turnout. It went off pretty good. We had all teachers show up today, which was even a little bit more exciting. And I was a little disappointed. I was talking to Quaker Valley. I said, well, they had Jerome Bettis show up Thursday. I said, the best they can do is listen to me for a little bit. So maybe next year we can get Bettis to show up. But my theme today with the staff and maybe for this year was, and I talked to Mr. Van Mastre early in summer, is, trying to find the talents in our kids, trying to find those talents in our kids at an early age. And emphasizing how important this profession is. And I can share that some of the slides that I gave to the staff today. We're the only profession that creates other professions. And I wanted to remind them of that. And what made me think about it all summer, I don't know how many of you watch America's Got Talent. I do. It's very motivating. It's very inspiring. So we brought up some different videos, and we probably will again on Friday when all the staff is there, just to remind them that they can have those experiences in the classroom. It does not have to be in front of 4 judges in Hollywood. It can happen in their classroom. So that's kind of like our theme that we want to think about this year. And maybe even, I talked to Mr. Van, maybe even have a Turner's Got Talent night, something like that. To show some talent.
It would bring out parents.
Yeah, I think it would be exciting for our kids.
Parents come too.
So that was kind of the theme that we went through today. It went very well. And then, of course, they had to go listen to a math session all day. I'm sure they loved that. But that was a point of emphasis too. I've been hearing since my first year here about a math program. I've been hearing about it. Our data shows that we needed something. Now that we did it, and we did it the right way with teacher input, now it's their responsibility to implement with fidelity. And that was the point of emphasis. We want to make sure on that because, this was really heavily researched. And now if it's not done with fidelity from the start, it could distort the whole process and change, and we don't want that. So I walked into a classroom today, Miss Mossa working with her staff already, making them, and it was definitely a student-centered activity because they were up putting Post-its up on the wall, looking at the duties and responsibilities of everybody that falls under Miss Mosso. And so she's really dived in quickly in trying to analyze the situation. Where's our strengths? Where are our weaknesses? What can we do better? So that was good to see today. And of course, you saw with Miss Sutton, the support that she has provided this last month or so. They've been busy nonstop from day one. So I really appreciate the work that they've done. I can't say all this without thanking and I'm going to do this again on Friday, but the summer staff help, the central office staff help, the people that fall under Rick. Diane, I can go through the list of names in central office, and we'll do this on Friday. But the stuff that's in those classrooms have to go through the business office, and multiple people in that business office sometimes, and that's. So the supplies, the activities, some of the new toys that they have, the learning toys, they deserve a lot of credit because they made it happen. And we've gotten a lot of compliments on the way the buildings look. And I know I'm very particular, I know that. But we've gotten a lot of compliments this year from 20-year teachers on the way their classrooms have looked this year. As you can see the hallways here. So the custodian maintenance staff has done a great job getting us ready to go as well. And I'm going to let them know that Friday as well, because they deserve to know that.
Well, Ed Rosiak's report last week when he was going on and on about how hard they worked over the summer, you can see that on the hallway floors, just shining as you walk down the hall here, and how clean everything is. So he wasn't exaggerating how much work they got done and how good the building looks. So it'll be great next week for the kids to come back.
And taking care of things on the whim. They're taking these trees down on a whim. I mean, it's an expense, but it's the safety of our kids. So I mean, he doing it very cheaply too. So we appreciated that. And lastly, again, Ms. Pendro putting this week together, planning it, putting it together, keeping me in line. What's my role? Hey, what do I got to get done too? Well, I appreciate that. I need that sometimes. I get caught up in doing a lot of different things.
She's done that for the last few years.
Yeah. So that's what we need. And the last thing I have is, hopefully everybody can attend on Friday. We're going to have everybody there. I think that's important. One last thing, Rick and I did attend another architect meeting this week. Some things that came up from that is inside the focus is just going to be on Kelly primary. We're not going to try to divert from that, from central office, things like that. We can always do a plan phase things like you talked about before. But we're going to focus on that. And then there was a lot of good discussion and back and forth among the architects and Bill Cray. He definitely, I know a little bit, like we've talked about before, but I've realized I don't know that much. So the redesign.
He does.
And he does. And he does. And the redesign of that elevator will save us a significant amount of money and add classrooms. instead of putting it in that main area, which would cost them anywhere from 1.2 to 1.4, where now it'll be on the exterior again. And that empty space will now be classrooms, so it'll add space for us. So that's just the start. There'll be more to come, of course, from that. So
Bill Craig, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Did you finish? I cut you off before you finished your sentence.
no, I'm good.
Bill Craig will start next month giving us monthly reports at planning meetings, every
Okay.
month. He was even offering to come tonight. I said, no, save it for next week. Dr. Joe can update us a little bit tonight. But I heard that meeting went really, really well, and he showed his stuff, with, and interacting with the architects was exactly what we needed. So
What time is Friday again?
it's all day, but I'll send you the schedule.
No, the teacher.
Oh, they're there all day.
District thing.
There's lunch.
11:15 then lunch.
He presents on
Okay.
11:30.
It'll look a little different than what I presented to the staff today, because everybody's going to be there.
I was gonna mention Steve, I've forgotten his last name, the architect that actually redesigned the space. He was very intent on listening to Bill.
He was.
Right.
Yeah.
Very, very intent. And really, he is the one that had the vision about changing the floor
The elevator.
space and all of that with the elevator. It was good. I missed this last meeting, but the one before that, really, it's exciting, actually. And having all that wasted space in the classrooms and not being dangerous.
Yeah.
Is it a meeting that board members can go to?
Yeah.
But they're also virtual. Yeah.
I wasn't aware of it, so I
Yeah,
didn't know.
yeah. Well, we didn't make, I guess we wanted the first one to just be Bill getting a relationship with the architects, but, yeah, if after Bill's first report to us, we decide that somebody would like to dig deeper, be more involved, yeah, we could do that. Yeah. Dennis went to one.
Yeah, I tried to go to the other one, but virtual didn't work somehow. I don't know why. I couldn't get in
Yeah.
the meetings, so I bet I couldn't get downtown, so.
Deb, I thought about those as sort of being an outgrowth of the capital project group that we used to have, but it kind of is and it kind of isn't, so that's why I asked Dennis to go. I couldn't make it anyway, but yeah, we can work on having board members be able to sit on this, yeah.
It'd just be interesting
It's
to,
exciting.
Yeah, it would be.
It's interesting.
So do we have one more report?
Nope.
No, we don't. Okay, great. I just wanted to, in item H, the facilities report, Ed Rosiak last week he was so full of information and photos and things that were done over the summer. I just I put a little star beside item H here, the facilities report, because it was really good. He was proud of his people and we can see the work that he got done. So that's really great. The finance report last week, Rick gave us some higher level points on where we are with budget. I think next month Deb will resume finance committee meetings at a time and place of her choosing. So we'll have a more detailed finance report next month. Anything did we get any more extra millions since last week, Rick? No? Okay. All right. Okay, moving ahead to number 4, board action is requested to approve the minutes from the June 28th, 2022 legislative meeting. That should
Say
be
26.
July, right?
Yeah, July.
That should be July 26th.
Doesn't
Let me
carry
read that again. Board action is requested to approve the minutes from the July 26th, 2022 legislative meeting.
second,
Discussion?
Who made the motion?
Ashley.
I didn't get a window, but I'm a yes.
Do I need to vote on this when I wasn't on the board at the time? You can abstain. I abstained.
Yeah, you
because I
can
wasn't
abstain.
there, so you can. abstain.
No. I'll do this. That's what people do. You won't go. So, are we okay, Rick?
Wait for Eric.
I think he left.
Oh, he abstained.
Do we have, is that enough votes to pass it? I think it.
Yeah, pretty good.
Okay, great. Thank you, Rick. Waterfront, we have a lot of items under education and curriculum. Waterfront learning, Dr. Joe.
Yeah, board action requests to approve the renewal of waterfront learning for Imagine Language, Imagine Reading, and Literacy at a cost of $34,650.
So moved.
Second.
She's second. Any discussion? Okay.
Give you the window, Ed.
Oh, you know why? So, yeah, I'm sorry, Rick. I was not going to the board docs tab. That's why I didn't get a window. I mean, it was there for me.
Motion passed.
Okay, that motion passes. Dr. Joe.
Board action is requested to accept the resignation of Christina Moraz, special education teacher at Turner Intermediate, effective August 8th, 2022.
So moved. Ed,
Second, Dennis.
discussion? I'm going to ask a question here of everybody. When we have personnel actions like this, and we've already discussed them all at the planning meeting, would anybody be comfortable with us voting to approve things in a group? Lots of boards do that. Pittsburgh does it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we could go, instead of reading the items again that we read last week, if they've been discussed at planning, nothing new, but if they've been discussed at planning, we could vote on these things as a group, and it would save a lot of time. We could use that time for other things. But everybody okay with, we can organize next month like that, Rick?
Yeah, what we have to do, I think, is come to a consensus on the grouping, because we'd have to do a consent
Right.
vote for all that group.
Right.
So I'd have to put them all.
I'll
in
work
one.
with you about what the groups could be,
Yeah.
okay? And then, yeah, that could be more efficient.
Yeah, just have to do that between planning and this meeting.
That's exactly what Forbes Road does, by the way. They
Yeah.
clump them together, you
Yeah.
vote it.
Most schools do. We tried it one time though, if you recall. We tried it and it screwed up all of the votes moving forward.
Yeah,
Something
so we gotta
really
figure it- we'll
does.
figure it out.
So
Okay, yeah, if there's a
Yeah.
way to do it through board docs, that would be good.
There
Okay.
is,
There is.
Okay.
but we just didn't, we did something wrong and it screwed up the votes for everything
Oh,
after.
we don't want that. Okay. So, okay.
Eric
Uh,
has a question.
let's see, Eric. Mr. Steadley?
Where is his name?
I saw that he raised his hand, but I don't,
And he's not on mute. Can't
he
get
says
off
he
mute.
can't get his mic off mute, sorry. All right, we'll come back to you when you can. Dr. Joe,
Board action is requested to approve the resignation of Alexandra Coyle, special education teacher at Kelly Primary, effective August 12th, 2022.
so moved. Ed,
Second, Ashley.
discussion?
Seemed to have lost.
Devin, Eric.
Who?
Deb
I've lost,
Oh.
I'm trying to get it, but I'm a yes.
and Eric.
Eric, can you vote? Is he still here? He left the meeting. Mark him whatever that is.
He's on, he voted.
Oh, okay, good. Mark him whatever. Dr. Joe, you know what I mean?
Board action is requested to approve the resignation of Lily Manganello, building substitute, effective immediately. She ended up getting a full-time job, and she did give me the heads up when she was still in it.
So moved.
I'll second. Oh, actually, second. Discussion? That's a teacher we did not want to lose.
Substitute,
So,
building substitute, yeah.
Motion passed.
That motion passed. Dr. Joe.
Board action is requested to approve Carly Weldy as a long-term sub for the 2022-2023 school year at a salary of step one, $45,363, and all other terms per the current MOU effective first teaching day of 2022-2023. And she's here with us.
Let's get.
Hi, everyone.
Hi. Wait till we vote, then you're
Yeah.
official. I'll second.
Oh,
Oh, so moved.
so moved, yeah.
I'll second then. Let's vote, but I get yelled at when I welcome people before we actually do the vote, Carly, so hang on.
Motion passed.
Motion passed. So, welcome,
Welcome.
congratulations.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
So, did you make it to, orientation on Monday?
I did,
Oh,
yeah.
great, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
so-
That was a little dicey, so I'm glad you came.
Yes, I was very glad to. There's been a lot to take in and I'm really excited. It's good to meet everybody. So I'm very, very, very excited to be here.
Great, yeah, we're happy to have you.
Thank
My
you.
gosh, her face is just beaming, isn't it?
I'm
To
excited.
be with us,
You're from
yeah.
Buffalo, right?
Yeah.
Come from Buffalo, right?
Buffalo, New York. I just moved here in June and I have my master's in education. I have a performance degree, BFA degree in theater, so like bubbly.
All right, that might
That's
be where
great.
it comes from. Yes, yes, yes. You're joining a really, really good district that's, that works together well as team. Yeah, you'll see.
They welcomed me, at least the K team especially welcomed me with open arms, and I feel very fortunate and welcomed. So I'm really glad to be
Good,
here.
good. Thank you.
Thank
Yes,
you.
you are.
You're quite an impressive person.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you, Carl.
Dr.
you.
Joe.
Addison's planning board action is requested to approve Shannon Check as a special education teacher, Kelly Primary at a step 8 master salary of $51,715, and all their terms and conditions per the current CBA effective first teacher day of 2022-2023.
So moved, Dennis.
Second.
Discussion?
Bye-bye.
Hi.
Where
Can
are
hear
you?
me? Hi.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Hi, Shannon.
Thank you. I'm so very excited to be here and to be here with all of you.
Well, as soon as Rick tells me that the motion passed, we can make it official.
Mine didn't pop up.
Wait, for Deb and Eric, is it?
I'm a yes,
Okay.
but my-
And what?
I don't know if
I
Eric's here,
keep
so.
getting these
He's
delays.
still
and-
on.
I'm here.
Oh, okay.
I'm just waiting for the pop-up.
There's a little lag.
Yeah.
There it is. Now I'm
Today.
getting it.
I've got it.
Okay.
All right. So Shannon, welcome. Tell us what would be the elevator speech about you?
The elevator speech. I have been a life skills teacher, a special education teacher, and a behavior specialist for the past 20 years. I absolutely love working with kids, especially the kiddos that have a lot of behavior problems, a lot of special needs, and working on really social skills and communication, all those types of fun things. But I'm so excited to be here with all of you.
Happy to
We're
have you.
grateful to have
Yes,
you.
you're joining a highly functioning district. It'll be, you're gonna have a good time.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations and welcome.
Thanks for
Thank you
joining.
so much.
Okay, Dr. Joe.
I think that's the last one. Those were hold positions in case, because we still have some open positions out there.
Right.
So hopefully we can make some things happen quickly.
Do we have all of our, really, the needed positions open? Do we have?
One special ed?
We have one more special ed position needed at Turner,
Okay.
so we have a few interviews set up, like one tomorrow.
And we may rearrange
And-
the staff that we currently have.
Yes.
To make sure we have the support that's needed for those special ed
Okay,
kids.
that's what was gonna be my next
Yeah.
question. Then what are we
Yes.
doing?
We
for-
thought we have somebody in-house that has the special ed certification. We had those discussions today with that teacher, who's
Okay.
very open to it as well.
Okay, Good.
And then if we have to rehire for that grade level, but we can manage with the grade level, we were just concerned about the caseload of the special ed kids.
so one position is pretty good for this time of the year.
Yeah, and we're still gonna hire for, like you guys said last week, if you guys,
Sure.
more of those kindergarten assistants.
Sure.
But it's not too bad, but I can tell you this, I get an email every day from the AIU director. Everybody, it's all in the same areas. All the school districts are in the same areas. There's a lot of certifications out there, pre-K through 4, not as many 5 and 6,
Yeah.
and special ed. So everybody it's starting to hit. We're getting those regularly.
Right.
So we're not too bad
Special
shape.
education care, the kindergarten teachers.
So
I didn't hear you, sir. I'm sorry.
We need a special education care,
Fair.
for kindergarten teaching assistant.
Right.
Because we had one that did not show up.
So you see that we have a number, Rick,
Yeah, maybe we're gonna talk about the same thing.
hold items?
Yeah, I was asking.
Yeah,
that.
so the hold items we discussed last week, so we just have to make sure everybody's comfortable. But if a candidate has gone through the interview process with Dr. Joe going ahead and making that offer, and then we'll ratify it next month.
Right.
Otherwise, we would be voting on these empty slots here, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Right.
So
Right.
if we're all cool with that?
No, I was just saying, do I have to do anything special with that table then or anything?
No.
Nope.
Yep.
I'll make sure the resumes are in the weekly update if anything.
Oh, thank you.
That's good.
Okay, thanks for that clarification, Matt. That makes things a little easier. All right, Dr. Joe, you're still on number 7.
Board action requested to approve the resignation of Shalea Lee, special education paraprofessional, effective August 16th, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Okay,
Is she going somewhere?
good question. I never really got to meet her.
We just approved her last month and she
No, she never actually started.
never actually started.
Motion passed.
All right, that motion passed. Section 8, board and committee reports. A, the Joint Tax Committee did not meet this month, and that was deliberate. There were no applications and no business to discuss, so the meeting would have been on Monday. Item B, I don't know if we have a report from, Michael's not here, so we don't have a Forbes Road report. Item C, Eric, there was a bit of an update on the roof, I think, going around with email. Eric, anything you want to say? All right, we can come back to you if you want to cover that, but you did send out very thorough emails, and I appreciate that. Okay, the treasurer's report.
Board action is requested to ratify and confirm the August 2022 general fund payments in the amount of $1,155,344.37. Wire transfers in the amount of $177,380.41, and capital fund payments in the amount of $56,948.75. The following report for June 30, 2022 will be made a matter of record for the minutes. Cash.
So moved.
Second, Debbie.
Discussion. Dennis, thank you for your work on this. I know it's like 50 pounds of paper every day.
That's all right.
I've been at Dennis's house when he's going through these. There are stacks all over the dining room table, and it's a large table. And on the floor and everything else. It's really tedious. So thanks, Dennis.
No problem.
Are we okay, Rick?
No. Eric and Deb.
I keep losing internet. I hope we don't lose, teachers don't lose internet over here, but I keep having to refresh. But yes, I'm a yes.
And then still waiting for Eric.
It's
Yep,
great.
okay, motion passed it.
Okay.
I'm-
Where we are. Oh, conference travel, Rick?
Yep. Board actions requested to approve the August conference travel request per attached, not to exceed $981 to be paid for from general fund.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Motion passed.
All right. Moving into section 13, Dr. Joe, item A, the AIU.
Board action requested to approve the extension of the attached AIU agreement to support the special education department from August 24th, 2022 through January 19th, 2023, at a cost not exceeding $24,428.52, pending the approval of the agreement from the school solicitor.
So moved.
I'll second. Discussion?
I received that late, so I just wasn't sure if I wanted to make sure that we added that in there.
Yeah, I thought we did talk about
We
it.
did, I thought we did
Yes.
too.
No, I mean the new updated agreement.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it was, yeah, she'll be with us.
Did everybody meet her?
Lori
Motion
Sutton.
Oh, Lori left, okay. Oh, I didn't see her leave, okay. We had a chance to meet Lori Sutton a little while ago. She's really good. It turns out that we've known each other for a long time. Did that?
It passed.
Oh, that passed. Thanks, Rick. Section B, item B.
Board actions requested to approve the after-school program for 2022-2023. Neighborhood Learning Alliance will supplement the cost using county and 21st century funding. NLA will pay staff $15 an hour and coordinators $17. The district will be responsible for the remaining $10 an hour for the paraprofessional staff and $20 an hour for the professional staff and $18 an hour for the coordinators. The breakdown is attached in the document. Security will be paid for at their current hourly rate and will receive time and a half for hours over 40, not to exceed $20,190 for 2 guards. Busing costs and dinner program costs are to be determined based on the enrollment at a cost of $178 a day per bus and not to exceed $11,000. District costs will be paid for from the ESSER funds.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, thanks for all the extra detail, but that was important to get some of those things fleshed out a little bit so people are more comfortable with, instead of voting for, with those big whole things. So thank you. I know that was extra work. But
The one thing that we did talk about last week though, that still isn't in there, is I thought we were going to put the total cost not to exceed the 72.9.
Well,
The
the
total-
total we did, but I think that even went up now. I think it's 170,000 somebody, or 107,000. Did you send that in? It's,
Is that the total cost,
I think it's
including
a-
the guards and the,
I thought it was.
No,
in
but
there.
just-
Total, I had sent you a total. once
Yeah.
we added,
Is that not
like,
attached?
all three.
all 3 pieces together? We add that
I
in.
think I updated the document.
Yeah, I thought it was attached. No, it's not.
It's not, the updated attachments.
I can't
What's
get out
attached
of it
is
now.
just the 72.9 that was
Okay.
there last time.
I'll
So if
attach
something changed,
I'll add the new attachment. It's 107,000.
so the motion should say not to exceed 107,000.
Yeah, we can add that into the minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
With the start and the end date being September 19th through June 1st.
we okay? I passed?
1 second, let me just make notes of.
Sure.
Yeah, motion passed.
Okay, Blade Run.
Board actions requested to approve Blade Run
Oh, that's-
Lutheran Services for mental health services and to work with the district staff program. It's the same company that we used last
This is
year.
the one that I just.
Oh. So moved, Ed.
I didn't see it.
Second, Ashley.
Discussion on this? Okay,
Oh, I'm sorry. The only thing I would add for the discussion is we should probably say it's at no cost to the district.
That's what I was looking at.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
No.
paid through the
Yeah.
insurance and stuff, yeah.
And is this just for 1 year?
Yeah, we
There's-
renew it each year.
Okay,
And-
because
and
there's nothing in there. I would also put that in the notion for 1 year.
22,
At no
23.
for this school year, yeah. Thanks, Ed.
Because we actually just switched to this company last year or the year before. So we did have somebody else.
Yeah, because there's nothing in the attachment.
This, it says, basically, all the insurance companies. Somebody attached it.
Right, but it should be in the
Right,
motion.
right, no.
Okay, Rick?
I'm waiting for Tosh.
Sorry,
Oh,
I
that's
was
okay.
reading.
That's fine. Motion passed.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, Stat Nursing.
Board actions requested to approve the agreement with Stat Nursing for the 22-23 school year. Furthermore, board action requested to approve the following rates. LPN at $52.88 per hour. Registered nurse at $57.88 per hour. And the specialty nurse, which is non-RN or it could be an LPN, at $74.88 per hour.
So moved, Ed.
Second. Thanks.
Discussion.
Motion passed.
All right, the next two are yours, Mr. Roberto.
Board action is requested to rescind the July 26, 2022 board motion to sell the metal pole building to Scott Levitt for $8,500.
So moved, Ed.
Second.
Second, Monica. Discussion. We talked about this last week. Unless we're just gonna turn around and sell it again, coming up.
That's a good problem.
Yeah, indeed.
Just waiting for Eric. Motion passed.
All right. Now
Board
let's
action.
sell it again.
Board action is requested to approve the sale of the metal pole building to Alex Curry for $8,500 per the attached.
So moved, Ed.
Second, Dennis.
Discussion?
Building's gone, by the way.
Oh, okay, good.
Building's gone.
Yeah.
And the check cleared.
Yeah, that's
I did
good too.
Pick it up.
Thank you, sir. All right, the revised health and,
Just
oh, I'm sorry.
that, just that.
It doesn't,
Okay.
I haven't, yes. It'll pop up after you put it in there.
The revised, are we okay?
Yeah,
Are we?
yeah.
The updated health and safety plan.
Yeah, board action is requested to approve the district's health and safety plan.
So moved, Ed.
Second.
A discussion?
Yeah, no pop-ups.
The action or in the levels in Allegheny County have been going in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's not, yeah, I'm a yes.
Right, yeah, now we have that to worry about, right?
Like, I keep getting, I can't even go to the next thing, so I keep, here it goes, now, look at, two pop-up, did you see that? I'm not
Just
losing my
waiting for
mind.
Eric. Almost the first time. COVID.
Now it says there is an error in your vote.
Eric has a question.
That's probably because Rick already has in it. You have Debbie's votes in there, right?
I just put that one in, but Eric has a question on this motion.
Oh, okay, on this motion. Go ahead, Eric.
I don't think you can get off. He posted the question.
I just
Oh,
don't know how to get off mute, but I'm gonna just keep trying until somebody tells me, please, that I can be heard. Anyone? Can anyone tell me that I'm being heard?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I can't vote for this plan. I do not agree with anything. Honestly, the whole approach to this seems very cavalier. I do not feel that this safety plan addresses the real issues that we need to face. So I'm not going to vote for this. Sorry.
okay. Thank you.
We'll let Marcus know.
I think
Just
he's
vote
indicating no. If they haven't
No.
voted
Okay.
on board
We
doc.
voted no.
Okay,
Motion passed.
let's see, where are we? Comprehensive plan.
No, back to school again.
Back to school event, sorry.
Oh.
Board action is requested to authorize the administration to spend up to $7,500 for the back to school event in August, which is this Friday, 3 to 6.
Second.
Discussion? Looking forward to that.
Motion passed.
All right, comprehensive plan.
Board action is requested to approve the comprehensive plan for 2022 through 2025, and furthermore, acknowledge the receipt of all supplemental information.
So I'll move that.
Second, Monica?
Discussion? It was already noted that we'd like to see this, posted to the library. They're here, but, well, Rick, does that make sense to move these over to the library
I
also?
can.
I mean, we can
Want them separate.
double enter them. Yeah, it makes it easier to search for, I think.
Rick, is it easier for us to do it when we put them on, or is it easier for you to do it?
You mean move?
Whoever does my recommendation is whoever puts the last one on, I worry that one person should probably be responsible because what I hear is, Summer had attachments that either you didn't get or you didn't put on. She'd put one attachment, you have another one that we're approving. They should be the same.
Yeah,
in both
right,
places,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, right.
Because
So don't put them in the library till after we voted on them, because that would mean at least they've been
it
scrutinized.
should
How
be
about
the
that?
final one there.
Okay,
I'll do it.
thank you. Library cards.
Board action requested to approve the,
Sorry. What?
It passed, I'm sorry, yeah.
Oh,
board action is requested to approve the MOU between the Wilkinsburg Public Library and the Wilkinsburg School District to distribute library cards for every student.
so moved, Ed.
Second, Dennis.
Yeah, were you a yes?
I didn't get a pop-up thing, but I'm a yes.
Let's wait for Eric.
Eric, are you gonna vote?
Staying 4 votes.
Did something pop up here in the chat?
He said Mark abstained for all his votes.
Pardon me?
He put a thing up on the thing to Mark abstain.
Okay. Did it pass?
Yeah.
Thank you. And, the hot water tank.
The board action requested to approve the hot water tank replacement by the Johnson Controls of Pittsburgh at Kelly Primary at a cost of $33,000, $718.17 per the attached.
So moved, Ashley.
Second, Debbie.
Any discussion here?
That's already been completed, right? I believe.
I believe so, yeah.
Most of it.
It was pretty much what had to be done.
Right, right.
Motion passed.
And the special ed plan.
And board action is requested to approve the special education plan as per attached for from 2021 to 2024.
Let's move, Ed.
Second, Monica. Do we have questions?
I'm sorry, discussion on this?
Yeah, did we find out why this was 21 to 24? Is it retroactive to 21?
You know
Because
what?
the comprehensive plan is 22 through 25?
That's the one question I forgot to ask her. I apologize on that.
Summer.
Summer,
I can go into the portal and see the dates.
I thought when we talked about it, you introduced it, it was 22 to 25 tonight.
no, yeah, what did she have on tonight? That'll tell us.
I can't go back on it.
Oh, wait, I might go.
Is there?
That's a great, I was thought about that when I saw that. What'd you say?
Is the special ed plan attached?
It's right, there's an
Here
attachment
it is.
right there.
I'm gonna
on
try to pull it up.
I'm going.
I can't get into it.
Yeah, we can't
because of-
look at it unless
I can pull it up.
Oh, sorry, I need to vote.
It's not in there.
What?
It's not in the actual start of the year. Are you checking right now?
Yeah, it does say 2021 to 2024.
No kidding.
For 20,
So it
Let's
is,
see.
it was retroactive. It
It's
needed to be
retroactive.
Retroactive to that. So are we either late getting it in or,
No,
Very-
Summer said that those things were all kind of put on pause during the pandemic, right? So
Okay.
that's why it's.
We had till
retroactive.
June 30th to have it to the AIU, and then we put in a request for the extension because it wasn't even started.
Oh, yes, we remember, yeah, we were told about this.
okay.
Just waiting for Juanita.
Did you get it?
Not yet.
Hi, Dr. Thorpe.
It's a yes. I'm sorry, I can't access right now.
That's okay, thank you very much.
Motion passed.
Okay, that motion passes. And that's it. We have, oh, let's see, Michael's absent. Is Michael's the absent one?
Yeah.
Yeah, so board action is requested to excuse Michael Rose from this meeting.
Second, Debbie.
Anybody? We don't really have a, I did,
Oh, you made it.
I read it, yes.
Debbie seconded it?
yeah.
It was, I.
No,
I did
Debbie's,
first and then
You
after.
read-
I read it.
You read it, I moved it, she
Okay.
seconded it. Yeah.
We didn't have order of public.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. That's okay.
Any-
Okay, so is there any public comments before we adjourn? So I skipped over that. All right, I think that's it. So board action is requested to adjourn this meeting.
So moved.
Second, Ashley.
Of course, both of them, I can move it.
Oh, everybody, you have an invitation in your mailbox to get into the executive session coming up. It's from Dr. Joe at, sent this evening at 7:03. I was supposed to send it, and I just,
We need to end the current one.
I will need to leave this one and come into that one, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking at your,
Yeah.
you know what, that's pretty good. Did you paint those, somebody? or-
Oh, no, I go to an outside.
Whenever you're doing the meeting, it'll go to there. What?
She hand paints them.
Okay,
Right?
yeah,
Yeah.
they are amazing.
You have to put the new meeting into this,
Well,
right?
no, you gotta end up the meeting.
That's what I'm gonna do. Okay.
Bye, Summer.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you, Summer.
You know,